Pradeep and Andy and the whole staff of the ICON for hosting us today. Also thank you to our sponsors, Mona Sinha Foundation, the Kingfisher beer, and Sufi wines. I hope all of you are imbibing. I don't see too many people in class. If you feel like it yourselves. I am Guruji Dasani, Executive Director of the Indo-American Arts Council. It's a not-for-profit arts organization passionately dedicated to showcasing the best of performing, visual and literary arts from the Indian subcontinent. And that is the Indian subcontinent, the entire. That's India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, the works. We have coming up a couple of really interesting events in 2 weeks, or maybe it's next week. Anyway, on July 9th, we have another book reading by Veena Ravani. It's called Bird in a Banyan Tree. And on August the 20th, we have our outdoor dance festival. It's an annual event and it's absolutely spectacular. The New York Times just raves about it every year, and I know that those of you who have been there are going to keep coming back. We, the Arts Council, survive with the kindness of strangers. So if any of you are not members, please become members, because even that minute amount ensures that we're able to give you the wonderful programs that we try to present. And in addition to which, it's tax deductible. We do special member events. You get discounts on all ticketed events, and you generally are part of a wonderful family. And you get all the culture from the Indian subcontinent. So if you aren't a member, get onto our website, iaac.us, or Tom's sitting over there and can sign you up right away, or whatever. If you don't feel like becoming a member, get onto our mailing list, so at least you know what's going on. And now for the most important part of the evening. We are launching today Days of Gold and Sepia by Yasmin Premji. Yasmin and I have been friends for many, many years, and I won't tell you how many, but you can guess. I didn't have right there when I knew Yasmin first. But it's been many years, and it's been many years of lots of warmth and laughter and friendship. And she happened to be in the States at this time, and I grabbed her and asked her whether she would do this. She has had tons of book readings and book launches in India at the Jaipur Lit Fest, at the Capital Lit Fest, all sorts of things all over. But this is the debut one in the United States. She is going on to other parts of the States. And it is her debut novel. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yasmin.
Which you can read again and again. So it's no matter of, I know the story. It's a story you can go back to. It's one of the old-fashioned kind of books. Because it's about life. And we all know the story of life. We are born, we age, we die. And between those, all stories of life are written. And still we go back to it again and again. So this is a story, it's a rags to riches story. It's a story about a young goatherd son, totally impoverished, who leaves his desert homeland in Kutch and walks to Bombay and becomes a multi-millionaire, a lakopati as they call it in those days, becomes cotton king, because finally Bombay was a city of white gold. And at 6, Laji Laka is orphaned and he's packed off to a relative's home, and then he goes to manhood. And as very predictably, there's nothing unpredictable in the book, but yet you can read it, I hope. He falls in love with the girl of the house, and the marriage is not to be. And so at 16, heartbroken, he's just seen her, married off in a doli. He walks his way to Bombay, of which he has heard many things. He was said famous rich man. And it's the story of his path, his family, his friends. And I've tried to paint a picture of a particular period. It's from 1857 to 1947. So it's really a period picture. And like somebody said, it's not really about Lalji, it's also about the city of Bombay, because I think maybe I was in love with Bombay. And finally, I think your love is revealed itself in what you write. And I've tried to bring in characters which people at times, so there were the merchant princes of Bombay, there were the Maharajas, there were the courtesans, there were the soothsayers, there were the whole vibrant. I found the characters of the time very interesting, and I thought I'd weave them all in. So that's what I've done. Also I wanted to try and paint a picture of a gentler Bombay. And I not the maximum city that you probably have heard of. I wanted to believe that there was a gentler time. So really I wrote this book for myself. I wanted to feel that there was a time when life was gentle. So with that introduction, what I'll do is I'll read you a few passages. Tell me when you've had enough by getting restless. And then we can pick from there. Is that echoing too much? Is that echoing? I'm going to start by reading you a small passage from the prologue. It's what better place to start than at the beginning. I don't know why others write a prologue. I think the reason I wrote a prologue was to connect today's reader with yesterday's story. So you hear the prologue in the voice of Shahina Lalji, Lalji's granddaughter, and it's dated the year 2000.
Talk to us about the characters in the book. Where was the germ for them? Because a lot of them, this is just me, because I know you, a lot of them seem familiar to me in many ways, and I'm sure your characters are familiar to you because you pull them from different people, or maybe just one person for each. Talk to us about the characters and why some of them you're particularly sympathetic to. Why?
Well, more than the characters, let me tell you where the stories came from. I grew up hearing a lot of stories from my mother, from my mother-in-law, and they had a lot of characters from the old days, and I used to be fascinated by them. And as I was explaining to somebody a little earlier, it was because they were oral stories. You heard them. And today you talk about whether a book should be on paper or e-book. I think we miss the point altogether. A story needs to be told, because the process of telling a story, an oral tradition, is a vibrant one. It's a live thing. If I read this book tomorrow, it will be the same print as it is today. But the story will not be. Whatever you say with your words changes. It changes depending on who's listening to the story, who's telling it, whether it's in the cool, clear light of day, whether it's in the evening around a fire. It just changes. That is why we can go through our own epics over and over. We all know the story. That is the whole point. It's not important we know the story. It's what you pick it. And the listener is a very important part of telling. So if I'm telling a story and you're listening with some interest, I say it in a different way. You're like this, I'll say it in a different way. And so it is a vibrant, dynamic kind of process. And because it was so, I could hear the stories over and over that they told. I'm not being any successful with my children, I must confess. But I said, we tell them a second time and they say, we told us that story before. So, nowadays it was that we could hear the stories over and over. So, because these stories came, a lot of the characters, came from the people that I know. Some stories are written totally from family law, absolutely, completely, characters, event, etc. All the characters are no more. And but this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to write those stories. So I wanted to draw a character to make a certain framework which I wanted to tell the stories I wanted